whole RV was filled with... Oh, yeah, see Beyonce?
I don't know, man. So we've been hella excited to play with you guys, man. Ever since we saw, I know we've heard about you guys before we ended up getting the show together, but hella excited to play with you guys. Scoundrels, another band we've been wanting to play with for a minute, so to end up with both you guys on the same night, that has us hella excited. Where are you guys from?
We're from Sacramento.
I thought so. Yeah. And you guys have been you guys got together around 2019 or?
No, actually, we got together around like 2021.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
you guys are real new.
Yeah, it started off as a solo project for me.
Oh, okay.
Our first song was Offerings, and it hasn't even been a year yet.
Whoa,
as a full band. Yeah.
That's a trip. No, I went and looked and I saw a few singles and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, they've been doing it for a minute, but this is all recent.
Yeah. We played our first show with Scoundrels in August of last year, and then we went on a tour in January.
Oh, sick. Where'd you guys end up touring? Where'd you guys go?
We started in Reno, then we went to the Pacific Northwest, did a couple dates out there, and then we went back down here, played here actually at Old Ironsides, and then we went to the Bay Area and then finished off in Vegas.
Nice. Yeah, we've been wanting to push out to the Bay Area. We've been going like south quite a bit, and thanks to you guys, we're going up north now a little bit more.
Yeah, dude.
We played Lodi last week, right? Last weekend over at that skate park, Wildwood.
Oh, Wildwood's cool, dude.
Oh, it's sick.
Dude, Dan from In Chaos played a show there for his birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, this venue's so sick. Like,
did you guys play that back half pipe area, or did you play
they played that big room.
Okay, so did we. We were curious because our homies in Dolores played there. And that's why we wanted to play there, because we saw shots. I think we saw shots of Scoundrel too, right? Like playing there. But yeah, so it looked like a dope ass venue to play. And then we played there, and we're like, this isn't the same. This doesn't look the same. The backdrop didn't quite. I like that backdrop of having the half pipe like right behind you as you're playing or whatever. I'm not complaining. It was fucking sick ass show.
It's funny you say Dolores because Leo was literally at our Cupertino show.
Oh no,
like
sick,
Leo's the homie. Like I love that guy.
Yeah, actually, our the first episode we ever did was with them.
Oh, sick.
It came out second. It's weird. It came out after the first episode, but that was really cool because we're nervous as fuck. It's just an idea I had. It's one thing to have an idea. It's a whole nother to actually be doing the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Feels.
But he was so down, and he was hella cool. Like, and it was in that. Have you guys played Destructive Warehouse over in Fresno?
Not yet.
So I don't think they have it set up like this anymore. But the area you first walk in was like set up like a green room for the bands, and we played there.
Oh, cool.
Hella cool. Had like a little mini bar type setup in there. And
I personally love the more like intimate shows. Like they're so much more fun. Like this, like Old Ironsides is like we've played here 4 or 5 times now, and they've all like sold out, and we're just like having so much fun.
Yeah, Destructive Warehouse is. You guys definitely got to play that one sometime. Like it's the vibes there are really freaking chill. It's very like DIY, and like just the atmosphere there. It's like on another level because you're like down there with like people that want to like be there at the show, so like fans.
Sick.
And all that
so
good
it's like
stuff.
kind of like the like early 2000s era of of metalcore, deathcore kind of like mentality where it's like people just showed up because it was a show.
Yeah, it was almost like it almost had the feeling of like almost like a house show in a way. Just because it's like very DIY. It's in a warehouse. Like it's in a warehouse. They have like their own little stage that they built, but it's like it's legit, dude. Like it's really fun. If you guys ever get the chance, go to Fresno for the Destructive Warehouse.
Yeah, man. I mean, like right now we're just like we're kind of going back to writing right now, just because like we've been so busy. Like since August, we basically played a show almost every like couple weeks, and then like we went back on tour, and then we came back and we were like in the studio automatically. Like released one song. Now we're releasing another one in April, and like.
Where do you guys go to record?
We actually record with Nick Miller from Muscala Drive.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's an old friend of mine. So like we like. The whole way this band started was my wife and Jared from Suffocate, the original vocalist, they were talking to me about it, and I did an Lorna Shore cover, and everyone was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I'm a dad. I was like, I got my life together. I got a career. Like, I'm not really trying to get back into this.
Yeah.
I was just doing it for fun to kind of flex. And he was like, nah, dude, you got to go do this. And I was like, I don't know. And then my wife and him started talking, and then somehow I ended up having Nick jump in my DMs, and he was like, "So when are we doing this?" And I was like, "Shit, fuck, all right, I guess we're going back."
How's the songwriting go then? Like, is it all of you guys writing? Is it like one or two members? Is it?
It's pretty much all of us. It's a conjoined effort kind of thing. A lot of it has to do with a lot of like pre-pro. We do a lot of pre-pro.
So he hits you up, and then you just hit up all your homies, or how did that?
So with the first 2 singles we ever dropped, I just showed up.
Okay.
And I had no idea if the song was going to even sound like nothing. Like, I had no idea. And Nick was like, nah, dude, like, we're just going to bust out a song. We knocked out our first single in, like, 8 hours.
Fuck, dude.
And so, like, officially, like, Nick Miller was the original guitarist of this band.
But that's hella old school, man. Like, that's how they did it in, like, the 60s and shit. Or, if you'd go in and the whole process from start to finish is, like, happening right there in the moment. And,
yeah.
I wouldn't do it that way.
No, dude, honestly, like writing lyrics in such a short amount of time and like listening to each line and like trying to figure out punches and stuff. And I was like, dude, this is terrible. But
there's something to that, right? Like,
there's a certain
that
level
style of writing.
Oh yeah, like I feel like you get a really interesting result, but also it's like there are times when it's a lot harder. Like I agree on that. Like there's way more efficient ways to do it now that technology's gotten so much further. But like it's definitely tough. Like. There are times when I'm in the studio and I'm like, I don't even know like what cadence I should do for this song and I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, and then like I'll talk to the guys and I'll just be like, hey, like, what do you do here? What do you do here? And then like, we all kind of just figure it out over time. It's not just we wrote this new song, One for All, and I made the statement basically, it's not all for one. It's not for one person. It's one for everyone.
Does that have to do with anime by any chance?
Yes, it does.
Yes, got onto it. Yes.
Hey, it's okay, dude. Literally, our second single is called "Endless Waltz," and if you don't know what it is,
Gundam Wing,
Gundam
dude.
Wing.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Nah, I mean, that happened on tour a few times with us. Like, our RV door literally flew open, and we were like,
shit,
we were on the road, and we're like, oh shit!
Turned into an 80s action movie real quick and shit. You're like fucking trying to pull the door closed with the wind blowing and shit. Yeah.
Dude, it was so sketch. It was like there was like so many moments like on tour where we were like, all right, everything's going good, and then like something funky happened, and we were like, God damn, it's not a tour unless something terrible happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the nature of the beast,
dude. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it goes. Like, when you're on the road, like, there's so many unpredictable things that can happen. I mean, like, one of my favorite bands is The Ghost Inside.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
And, like, look at what happened to them. Like, the thing about being an artist that, like, a lot of people don't really understand is there's so much that can happen to us and in just almost a blink of an eye. And
gear being stolen seems to be I mean, I've never even gone on tour. Like, but gear being stolen seems to happen to, like, fucking almost every band that tours. I'm like, the fuck are there fucking ninjas like waiting for like touring bands to stop and
dude honestly
they see
like
that small trailer and they're like, oh, for sure there's at least a few $1,000s worth of shit in there, you know.
Dude
yeah.
So we were in Vegas. Yeah, we were in Vegas. And everyone wanted to go to Fremont Street, and I was like, cool. And we literally like pull into this like underneath a bridge kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is fucking sketchy. I don't like this idea. I don't want to leave the RV hanging out.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm in danger.
Yeah, like Ryan from Idle Mind was on tour with Everglade with us. And he was like doing photography, and we're like, hey man, we're gonna be gone like an hour max. Like, I was like, I'm not trying to be in Vegas till wee hours of the morning. Like, it's just not gonna be the move.
Yeah.
And so I was like, he stayed up for like an hour, and then we came out, and we just were like, yeah, somebody's got to stay with that RV because like I'm sketched the fuck out. Like, I was like, bro, we have 2 Helixes, a dark glass, a whole rack case, and I was like, the guitars alone are like $5,000. Like,
so the dark glass is where you play bass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where is it at in your setup?
It's in the rack case.
Okay, you guys, so you have a dark glass head. You're using the pedals or
both?
Okay, I'm just super curious. I play bass too, and that's what Anthony's using. He has like think he has like 2 fucking dark glass pedals and a dark glass head, you know, and he's like, but we all kind of like that sound it gives. I watched this like comparison video where they were comparing it to a Sans amp, you know, because that's like the go-to in like a studio setup.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy to hear just like zeroed out. The dark glass already kind of has this EQ slope, you know. It's like really aggressive, but you know, if you like that sound, it's.
Yeah, I noticed like when I step on the pedal, when I go to turn it on, and I like pluck a string before the pedal's turned on.
Yeah.
It's so much different.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
it's weird.
Even though it's plugged into the dark glass head, the pedal still makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
That Alpha Omega pedal is like.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I have. Yeah, that's what I use.
The Alpha Omega pedal. And I'm not even a bass player. Like, these guys brought me in as a bassist because I'm a guitarist.
Always. That's always how it goes in metal bands, you know.
And the whole bass setup I have is actually Greg's.
Yeah.
Because he's a bass player.
So I have a question, like, because I've made that transition too, going from guitar to, well, you know, done vocals too, but going to bass, like, how did you feel that transition was? For me, it was like, I thought it was going to be boring. I did it as a favor. Like, it was with Droogs, actually.
Yeah.
I did it as a favor for my friend, and then I ended up having so much fucking fun. I had no idea, like, so much more interaction with the drummer than I did as a guitar player, you know? And just, you know, being a part of, like, you know, the low end, the fucking groove and, the, you know, the slump, you know what I mean? So how did that transition feel to you going from guitar to bass?
So when they first hit me up, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, right? It was not really much of a favor. I just wanted to play music.
Yeah,
you know, I just wanted to play music. It was right after everything had opened up because of COVID. So shows were starting up again, and I just wanted to play music. So I joined them, and at first I was like, okay, this is different, you know? But now that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't even want to play guitar anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And it's been fun.
Do you feel like you can move more? I feel like I can move more on stage when I play bass. Yeah. Because, you know, not having to play like chords or have like weird fingerings or your hands are like stretching out allows you to kind of headbang a little easier without knowing you're fucking up the set because you can hear string noise or, you know, it's a little off or whatever.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been super fun. I enjoy it.
What kind of bass do you play?
It's what is it? Ibanez.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
It's an Ibanez. And
I had an Ibanez bass for a good minute.
Yeah.
I drool every time I see Dingwall, though.
That's what Anthony's got. Yeah. Anthony's got a Dingwall. Yeah.
We just got endorsed by Solar, so we're gonna get Solar guitars and basses.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
And Troubadour too. Troubadour cabs.
Yeah, like this band doesn't make any sense. Like, I just want to point that out. Like, none of it makes legitimate sense. I haven't done music in like 13 years.
Fuck.
And then I just showed up out of nowhere. Then everyone started kind of finding me through social media or friends or whatever. People like, oh, hey, like they need a guitarist, and then it just kind of just happened.
Yeah.
And I think it was it 4 months? I think it was 4 months in. We get a fucking offer from a label. Like, almost like instantly.
Holy shit.
And we were like, huh? And then Death picked us up, and Death is actually a branch of, like, people from Artery. Okay. So Eric Rushing, who owns pretty much all the venues in town in Sacramento, used to be part of Artery. And his business partner is Alan Wheeler. And Alan Wheeler was like, he met up with us at the studio. We were just there with Nick, and Nick kind of, like, plugged us. And he was like, hey, man, like, these guys are sick. Like, you want to, like, jump on this. And then we linked up with Death and got signed, and there's, like, one thing after another. Like, now we're on Solar, now we're on Troubadour and stuff, and, like, deals are coming in, and, like, we've had people reach out to us and stuff like that, but it's, like, it's getting to the point where, like, none of it really truly makes sense because we've only been playing shows since August.
Yeah.
And, like, we're very new to the point where we've even toured.
That's gotta feel incredible, man. Just, like, just barely starting out, and even if you're just doing it for fun, basically just doing what you love, to have that sort of recognition, you know what I mean? Immediately you know, the people you're trying to impress in the first place, right? The people that know what's up with the way they, you know, what sounds good these days, whatever, are fucking getting all excited about it. I would fucking be thrilled. That's awesome.
It's one of the coolest moments ever because we played a back-to-back show here at Old Ironsides, and it was like the first night sold out. They gave us a second night, and then we played again, and there were people that literally showed up to the first night.
Yeah.
And immediately bought tickets to the second night.
That's awesome.
And I was like, bro, we're not playing anything different.
They're getting me all amped up. I'm like, I get to watch them tonight. Like,
but they were like, yo, like, we want to watch you guys again. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, and then one of our friends, Amanda, she found us through a band called Titan with Ryan Brown as the vocalist. And Ryan was like, dude, jump on this track with me. He's like, you know, just do it live. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'm here.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are the lyrics? And I figured it out. And then I got on stage and I fucking threw down vocals for him that night. And Amanda was there. She never knew who I was, didn't know anything. And she was like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? And she tells me the story every time, so I can't forget it. Yeah. But she's like, dude, I just remember watching you get up there and you were like, I was like, who the fuck is this? And she's like, oh shit, he's in a band? Huh. And then a couple months later, we were playing shows, we get touring and stuff, and she like gets our Lotus tattooed on her.
Fuck,
like almost like
dude.
instant, and we were like, what? And she like shows us all the time, and she's like, yeah, I tattooed the Lotus on me because I love you guys that much.
That's fucking awesome.
And like
dude.
she shows up to shows, like she got in a car accident and she's like on, like she has a little like walker. Fuck. And she shows up to every show, and like literally like she's like day 3 of shows right now, and she literally just shows up to shows and just that's all she does.
I feel more than anything else will compel you to keep doing it, right? Like I was just talking to Sibo, our other drummer. He's a fill-in when our main drummer can't make it in. But we after we play a show, we'll look through like anybody that added us as a right after. We're like, okay, maybe they uploaded a video, right?
Right.
So we'll go look through and scour through and see if they added anything of us, so we can kind of snag it and add. We do these little compilation videos and stuff after our sets and whatnot. But I saw one of the kids that had just added us. I saw in his stories. It said it was him and his girlfriend. They're like, it's like high school or whatever, which is cool. We don't get to play too many all ages shows.
That was
same. Cool. The show before that unfortunately had some kids being turned away. They didn't realize it wasn't all ages. Like, well, that fucking sucks. You know what I mean? Like
I miss the old days, man. Like I don't know how long you guys have been doing music, but like
I've been doing this way too long. But
I'm like at 17 years now, and I remember going to like I was on tour and we played with KOG before they were KOG. So Kingdom of Giants was Hello Sailor at the time, and we were doing like weekend runs through this whole entire summer. Like it was like we come home, we work, and then we go back out and play shows, and we were in another place every time.
Which means you don't stop working, right?
Yeah. It's like pretty much like work on work.
One thing you're talking about these unseen like disasters that can happen to musicians. I'm like, even just that, dude. The fact that 6-7 days a week you're working, because if you got shows on the weekend or whatever, it's
you're pretty burnt out. Like
totally.
You're exhausted. But we played this tiny all age show, and I loved it. And it was a venue in Elk Grove of all places, and it was the coolest thing ever because the whole show sold out. And it had this glass like window, like huge, like it was like a panel, like a storefront.
Okay.
Kind of like if you go to like a shopping complex, you see the big glass like doors and like walls, and you're like you can see into the store.
Yeah.
That's the way this venue was, and there were people throwing down outside.
Fuck.
Like because they couldn't get in because it was max capacity, and I was like.
You had a wait. You had a waiting area outside.
Literally, I missed that era of music because it was like, bro, like nobody knew who you were, and there were people in the drones coming out just because
we got an overflow room outside and shit.
Yeah, they just wanted
awesome.
to be there.
Yeah,
and like I miss those days, and it's not the same, but it's definitely a lot more easy to get your music out there now and stuff like than back then because it was just MySpace. Like,
well, the market is flooded and saturated, but at the same time more accessible than ever, right? So,
yeah. I mean, dude, there's days where I'll like literally be listening to music and somebody shows me something. I'm like, holy crap, who are these guys?
Yeah,
and like, it's cool now because like social media made it really easy to like branch out and like, I was working here at Old Ironsides, the door, and I was working security and just so happened that like No Bragging Rights like liked a bunch of my like stuff on my personal, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna slide into the DMs. Like, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm gonna just shoot for it. Ended up talking to Mike for like 6 hours. And I was like, this is dope. Like social media it has its problems, but also allows me to like talk to guys that are way bigger on a bigger platform, and I'm like, this is like a communication thing. Like we talk.
Like anything else, I feel like it's about intent. You know what I mean? It's super useful as a device. As a communication device, like you're doing, reaching out to people you may have never been able to have access to or reach out to. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's enabled us to keep track of our fans and kind of reach out to them, and it's super useful, but I at the same time we all get stuck in little time warps, you know what I mean? Doom scrolling or whatever, you know what I mean?
Doom scrolling is the worst. When you get stuck on a reel and then one reel turns into 18 million and you're like, I literally have spent an hour and a half watching stupid reels.
Dude, yeah, and you'll look at the time and it's like, what the fuck? Dude, I've been sitting here for 40 fucking minutes? Like,
yeah, you're like, dude, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I doing this?
One thing you touched on, just kind of like this newer emergence of bands like in this area, dude. I've been so excited about that. And, the podcast is part of it, being able to, have an excuse to like hang out and talk to you guys, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It was something we were doing anyways, but this allows us to do it on a more extended, scale. But 2019, I swear, that's why I mentioned that earlier, because it seems like so many of the bands we've interviewed and like hung out with, it's like right when the whole COVID shit started, everybody started woodshedding. Bands that hadn't played music in forever, like, fuck it. Like, I ain't got shit else to do. Let's fucking do it. And I felt like, again, it's all about intent, kind of perspective, how you look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately, as soon as we had the green light to fucking do this shit again, dude.
It was nuts.
Yeah, this huge outpouring of creativity. And then the fans were hungry as fuck, too, right?
It was like 07, 08 era of music
yeah.
all over again. Like,
exactly.
people were begging to, like, you would play a show. Like, I remember the first show I went to was at Holy Diver.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
it sold out, like, I mean, in a matter of minutes.
Oh, dude, I was seeing friends play at like coffee house type shit. People are fucking like rabid, dude. It was like, after being fucking locked up for a fucking couple of years, it's like, yeah, you'll go anything, any sort of live interaction, any sort of exchange of like, human energy.
We didn't know what we were missing.
Yeah, exactly.
We had no idea what we were missing until it was gone, and then we were like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
I hate being like, I got stir crazy, and that's why I made that cover, and then and that's kind of what trickled all this. Like,
fuck yeah.
The pandemic was slowly like, it was like the first shutdown ended, and then it kind of came back, and I was like, I don't know, maybe. I was like, do I really want to do music again? Like,
yeah.
I remember how hard it was, and like how taxing it is on your mind and your body.
That touched on earlier too, was that looking at that fans thing, you said like best night ever. It was with him and his girl out, and I'm like, dude, this is so fucking sick. Like, even if we didn't talk to them at the merch booth or whatever, like, we're creating a sense of community. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean us as in like not just my band, but all these bands that are like doing this little tour circuit up and down California, which is pretty fucking big space in comparison to other states.
Yeah.
We have quite a bit of access, here, going bouncing from Oakland to Sacramento to fucking Bakersfield or whatever, you know what I mean?
The nice thing about Sacramento is it's a B market right now, but they're like, but every venue is trying to make it an A market now, and they're opening up more venues, and they're trying to make it like LA out here now.
Yeah.
Where LA is popping, but it's pay to play now, and it's hard to get out there. Like, most typical bands like ours, like, we don't get to be out there like that often, and when we do, it's like, holy shit, I'm actually playing here, or and it's like, that's cool, but it comes with a certain level of like, try to understand what you can and can't do in this industry.
Yeah.
And so when you got a place that's a B market right now that's slowly turning into an A market, and you're already dug in.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the sky's the limit at that point. Like, you've been there. You've already done it. You're known in the town. And so it kind of allows you to open up a lot more doors, and like, you play shows like this where it's sold out, and you're like, it's over and over again in your hometown. And eventually, like, your hometown's going to be like, hey, man, this band is coming into town. You guys sell out every night. Like, let's put you guys on this.
But I like that you bring it up, because, you're talking about kind of opening up the kind of market within your own community. It opens it up for other bands too. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
If you guys hadn't done the work here, we wouldn't be here right now. Like, hanging out with you guys and getting ready to play with you guys.
In your face, just right to the. I mean, dude, it's the humor of like being in a band is like probably like the best part. Like, because honestly, you ever watch the movie Van Wilder back in the day? Okay.
I actually don't think I did. I know what you're talking about.
Ryan Reynolds says this one quote, and I'll never forget it. And he says, "Never take life too seriously. You'll never get anywhere with life."
No, I do appreciate the whole band chats that happen. You know what I mean?
The banter's the best part.
It's pure like trash humor, like dark humor. You know what I mean? Like all the time. And you don't really get away with that most places in society. So.
No, I mean, Sergio over here is diabetic, and we like came up with a joke on tour with Benny from Everglade, and he's like, bro, I'm gonna come up with a nickname for you, and we were thinking about it, and then Ben's like, Diabeto. And I was dying because I was telling him the story earlier about my grandfather calling my grandmother, whose name was Beatrice. He would call her Diabeatrice. And he was like, and he was like,
oh, that's even more ruthless.
He's like Diabeto, and I'm like, this old guy was calling my grandmother that for 60-something years,
Damn.
and now this dude starts getting Diabeto.
The legacy has been continued, you know.
But you know the cool thing for Sergio is like he's been on the transplant list for a while.
Yeah.
To finally get a new pancreas and a kidney because he's had his issues with health, and the dude literally will do dialysis, and then he was like coming to the studio.
Fuck.
Which is like fucking raw. Like, I'm like, bro, like most normal people are like, nah, fuck all that. They're done. Yeah. But this dude's like, what's up? I'm here to work. And I'm like, God damn, bro, like chill. Like be cool, man. But we were working on the RV before tour, and he would come from dialysis and then start working on the RV with me.
No, it's fucking hardcore, dude.
People don't realize that after people get dialysis, they're done like for the day. Like I've seen people. I work next to like a dialysis place, so I'll see people out in wheelchairs because they're that much like drained, dude. It's crazy. So props.
Sometimes I'll get out and I'll have to sit in the car for like half an hour to kind of catch myself.
Yeah.
Because I'll get out of the chair and be like kind of like wobbly, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm tired, but I've wanted this for so long. Yeah. I'm not,
you're not going to take it for granted.
Seeing everything that's been happening to us lately, I'm not about to stop.
Yeah. No, dude, that's motivating because if anything, that should kind of like inspire people, to not be lazy, to take that extra step to like, maybe. Yeah. It's wild.
Like I'll tell you guys, like right now, like this band, like literally there's like moments when like people are like, yo, Greg, how much do you work? And I'm like, I work from 3 a.m. till 5 every day.
Fuck.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And then I work on the weekends here at Old Ironsides on the door. Like people are like, how do you make it work? And I'm like, I just do. Like, am I tired? Abso-fucking-lutely. But like, I let something go 14 years ago, and I'm like, now I'm like, no. That's
that was
happening.
what I was about to ask you. Was like, okay, so you're talking about how hungry you are, like, and I feel like I know, but like, what is it that drives you? What is it that compels you? Like, if you could break it down into a few words, you know what I mean, or a few sentences, Like,
I mean, overall, dude, I think like the biggest thing is it's that first note. I was talking to Ricky Hoover from Of Sulfur and originally Suffocate, and we were joking, and we said it's 97% bullshit and it's 3% fun. Yes. And he's like, and that 3% is that 25 to 45 minutes you get on that stage.
Yeah.
And he's like, as soon as that note hits and you watch people do what they do at a show, he's like, there's nothing. He's like, it's nothing. All the bullshit goes away.
It's all about perspective, though. Again, though, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when we changed it from like, okay, we hope to have this many numbers, or hope this many people come, whatever, to like making friends, so like, come out and meeting new people. Then the whole fucking perspective changes. So like, where even if this is all that happens tonight, like we got to hang out with you guys in your fucking Winnebago and fucking talk about like what you guys do and why you love it. Like, even if that's all that happens tonight. This was a fucking awesome night, dude. Like, this was fucking cool, it definitely perspective changes everything,
It's so funny because this minute I heard podcasts, I was like, my ears perked up because I love doing podcasts. I think that it's the best way to connect with people ever. I think it's so underrated. Like, I listen to Gary Vee a lot, and he's like a multi-millionaire. Dude's so smart. But he's always like, they're like underrated, overrated kind of thing. And and then he's like podcasts, and he's like underrated. He's like, podcasts are the best way to literally just talk about
I heard
what
somebody
you do.
describe them recently as like our modern day zines. I don't know, you said you've been around for a second, so like zines were it, in the punk community, hardcore community, like back in the 90s and even in the early 2000s and stuff like that. And to hear podcasts compared to that made me kind of rethink it. Like, like that. This is the new form of like, getting information out to the community, like in short form or quickly, you know what I mean? And even more accessible though, right? I remember the days when people would like send out a few bucks to get zines pulled from across the states or whatever, you know what I mean? And now it's like, like again, like even just this little circuit that we're doing here in California, like, you know, so much community happening, like, you know, all over the place.
It's lifelong friendships that you're building.
Yeah.
You're building these lifelong like friendships that are, honestly, they're kind of amazing. Like when you sit there and do a podcast with somebody and you don't know them for the next guy to the left and right of you, you're like, you build this friendship with them and you get to really know the person. Like not like the bullshit sugar-coated crap. Like you actually get like the real deal. Like you'll see tonight, like when I play shows, it's like I'm talkative, I'm this and that, and then all of a sudden, like 35, 45 minutes before I get on stage, I haven't said a fucking word.
Yeah.
My hat is off. I'm like zoned out. I'm literally on my own, focusing on what I'm focusing on.
Your dark place.
And then
I do that too.
I zone out. I catch my zen. And I was talking to Mike from No Bragging Rights. He's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Bro, I drink tea and I just zone out and I think about what exactly I need to do." And I was like, "And I have a vocal mist and I do my vocal mist and I do everything I need to do, and then I get on that stage and I just do the best I possibly can. And if I fuck up, like that's life. Like that's just gonna happen."
Well, you talking about vocal mist and running through the set, like, you know, mentally far more than I do, dude. I do a similar process, but I just sit there and do my best not to fucking stress out. You know what I mean? If I allow my mind to run its normal course, I'm gonna sit here and fucking just be very counterproductive. So instead, I just kind of do my best to just kind of empty myself out. You know what I mean? If like these anxieties come up, I'm like, just remind myself, I've done everything I could to prepare for this. My band has done everything we can to prepare to this. We've done this a million fucking times. You know, we'll do it again. I already know once, like you said, that first note, that first chord. Once that first chord hits, it's not me anymore. You know what I mean? It's you know, my other, you know,
it's your stage persona
is allowed to take over, and he'll get me through the whole fucking set. You know what I mean?
People don't realize, like, it's my coworkers come to my shows, and I'm a barber.
Yeah.
And most of my coworkers, they're like, "Bro, you're so timid."
Yeah.
Like, and
you just heard Jose be like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Carlson got a mean bone in his body." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's something about like horror film fans. I don't know if you're into horror, but like I saw like a meme about that too. Like, you know, the horror fan base tends to be the most like cute looking and you know.
I mean, you wouldn't know it, but like I'm a former, you know, special operations vet.
Fuck.
Like I was in special operations for 7 years, and you know, people are like, they think veterans are all like macho, and I'm like, bro, I'm just chilling. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm hella mellow, and like most of my coworkers, when they come to see me play a show, they're just like, it's so weird seeing you up there do that because like you're so quiet and so timid, and like you'll talk and you know you do your pleasantries with your clients, but like in comparison to what you look like when you're on stage, totally different person.
But that's like, why you get to be that nice, soft person every other time, right?
I get to say, "What's up, bitch? Fuck you!" And then people are like, "Oh, that shit's hard," and you're like,
dude,
and you're like,
you have permission to be that, right?
Yeah, like you're like, it's always that joke. It's like, you know, like when a person takes the first shot of whiskey, and then in the back of your head, it's like a little voice that's like, "Yo, tell the people how you really feel." And then you're like, "What's up? Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my face." And then everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?" And you're like, you just become a different person up there. Yeah. And I feel like all of us do. It's like the best drug you can possibly get without doing drugs. Yeah. I'm like, I never understood why musicians do drugs when they have that shit.
Right.
Because like you get on that stage and you're like, I don't even know that guy, and he knows every single lyric, and we've never even posted our lyrics. What the fuck? And that shit's sick.
It is.
It's so cool. Like, you watch it go down, and you're like, I don't know what to say about that. Like, you're like, hey, I see you. You right there. Yeah, you. You're literally singing every lyric. Like, bro, you might as well get up here. And you're like, and it's cool because you, like, engage with your fans and, like, on a whole different platform. And like I never thought like coming back into this I was gonna have fans the way I do, but now it's like a cult following.
That's fucking awesome.
Where we can play a show like this and it's like tickets are gone.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool. Like our first show was with Dwellings, who signed to Tragic Hero, and we sold that show out too.
Fuck, dude.
Like we've sold more shows
out.
That's
not
an
easy thing to do today either. Like I just mentioned earlier, like the market's saturated. You know what I mean? Like people have options. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
people have
options.
options.
You guys are doing something right.
Right. And it's like never is it like, oh hey, like we're amazing. I think we're the best band in the whole entire world. I'm like, nah, dude, we have our own room to grow. Like it's you know, it is what it is, but you know, you can't let your ego and pride get a hold of you at that point. You're like, people are like, oh, your band's sick, and I'm like, yeah, we aight. Like, nah, bro, I suck shit just like everyone else.
No, but staying hungry is like, you know, so
like,
much of it. You know what I mean? The second you get complacent, I like this genre because of that. I like hip hop because of that, where it's like iron sharpens iron, man. Like all of us, especially drummers. I don't know who your drummer is. I don't know if you're a drummer. Drummers are always fucking eyeing each other, but like, you know, every position in metal is always trying to get better. And part of that, you know, it's competitive in the best way. I feel like where we all kind of like scope each other out and be like, you know what, I think I could do that. You know what I mean? And try something similar. It comes out sounding different. You know what I mean? That's a new spin on it.
Literally, my best friend who toured with us, he was our driver, and he was like, dude, I don't understand your mindset. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you literally look at like Will Ramos and Adam and, you know, all these other vocalists, and you're like, yo, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What, and not because I'm trying to copy them.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Like, what makes them pop out against everything else? And then I'm like, and our label was like sitting at a venue, and they were like, yo, dude, you're hella better than him on vocals. And I was like, bro, don't tell me that shit. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they got numbers. Until I get numbers like that, then I'll push them to the side and be like, yo, I respect their hustle. They're fucking dope, but like I'm doing my shit. Like I'm not sitting here playing the pissing contest. Like I can sit here and be like, I'm a better vocalist than you.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that do for you? Like, it doesn't do anything.
It's not going to improve your game, that's for sure.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
If
you think you're on top, you're like the day you stop learning is the day you might as well die. Like, hands down. Like, bro, there is so much to this where I do a tunnel gutter roll, and people are like, what the fuck? How did you do that? And I'm like, oh, I kind of figured it out by watching Will do vocals on Lorna Shore stuff, and then I figured out like this way to contort it and then like move my mouth a certain way that makes it tunnel out. And
I love that you describe it that way. I'm sorry. It's just there's actual explicit terms for this shit now, and I think that's cool. Like it's becoming such a technical art that like it's fries or it's this whatever. You know, I describe things the way you do, where it's like the way it feels or the way you kind of because.
I feel like that's the most genuine way to do it, though. Like you have to like be like, "Yo, man, like how'd you do it?" and explain it to another vocalist, and you're like, "So I push my tongue on the bottom of my teeth, and then I turn it like at a 45, and then I close my mouth a little bit until I get that tunnel
Describing
sound."
The shape of it, pretty much. Yeah,
and it's like it paints the picture so that you can be like, "Cool, I'm gonna keep trying to do that," and then figure out my own way to do it.
Yeah,
and like figure out a way to make my unique twist on it, because no two vocalists are gonna always sound the same. Like certain vocalists are cookie cutter, like I'll admit that, like there are ones, but like I had a point when I like started this band, like I was like, I don't want to sound like everyone else, and so I was not trying to do the Lorna Shore stuff that I did a cover of. I'm not trying to do this metalcore sound. I was trying to come up with my own kind of style.
Yeah, and
when you hear it tonight, you're gonna be like, oh shit, you do not sound like anybody else. And
a vocalist with character or tone can intentionally try to copy somebody, and it's not going to sound the same. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you kind of imprint it with like your own, you know, feel or whatever. Where it's like, like you could try to copy somebody, but your own signature is always kind of stamped on it. You know, at the end of the day,
it goes back to saying like the ghost inside. The ghost inside is the ghost inside.
Yeah.
You hear a song from them, you know it's them.
Yeah.
Knock loose. You know it's them
you feel
by
it.
the minute that first fucking vocal hits, and you're like, knock loose.
Yeah.
You don't even have to know the song, and you know it. Like right out the gate. And it's like you have to get outside of that, because the market's so saturated, like you were saying. You have to like stand out.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow. And hopefully it's in a good light. And if you do that, then everyone's going to gravitate to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people are going to gravitate to the music, but like I don't get caught up on the numbers as much anymore now, like I used to in the beginning. And now I'm like, I had this mentality talking to one of my friends, and I said, dude, we don't have the numbers yet because nobody's found us yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when they find us, they'll fuck with us. I'm like, hey,
right
it
there,
just happens.
Our numbers aren't really happening, but when we play live, like people fucking feel it. So we're like, okay, we just got to work on the recording. That's our next focus. That's our next priority, is to get a clean recording of what we do. But same kind of thing where we're confident in what we do, that you know it should go off smoothly. So.
What are your guys' goal for 2023, if you guys have one?
For goals, really, I would say like we have a lot of writing, a lot of music videos that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be busy. We're kind of taking like a mild hiatus off of doing shows because we've been just so burnt out. We've played back to back almost every month, and it was like this was like a month away from a tour, and we were like, dude, we're so tired. Like, but like we're like, all right, we're gonna go back in the studio and stuff. But ultimately, like our goal for this year is really just write new music, put out music with features, and try to build the brand a little bit more. And then we're talking about playing a festival, and then possibly doing like another tour in summertime, trying to get some of the homies together, get a couple bigger bands maybe that we're friends with, and try to like plan something out and see if the numbers work. But you know how this game is. It's like literally like you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So you have to just be like kind of like, for lack of a better words, you're flying by the seat of your pants. Like you have to. Like you're like, all right, I'm here. I'm going to try to make this work. And if it doesn't, like it's no sweat off your back. You're just like, it's just the nature of the game, dude. Like you could be promised up and down you're going to play a show, and then you don't get the show. And I mean,
one of the most vicious aspects of doing this in the first place is that the majority of us are fucking introverts, and we're like into like this nerdy anime and comic books. Like we're into comic books and shit, you know what I mean? But yet we're put in this environment where we have to withstand rejection constantly, like on a constant basis. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Where like you said, you might do the numbers, hope it all plays out, but then you play to an empty room. Anyways, like we've played with, I don't want to mention names, but we've played with bands that were fucking huge, way bigger than we are, and we still played to like a small crowd, and it's like there's no guaranteeing anything.
It's up in the air. You're never promised the best show in the world.
Yeah.
And the day you get that out of your head that, hey man, look, do we sound good tonight? Yeah, we did. All right, cool. And a big thing I do with my band is I do end of day meetings. So we get done playing the show, we recap on how did the show go? What did we see? What did we do? What did we hear that was messed up? Like what can we do better?
Yeah.
And I like to do those because it makes everyone kind of accountable, and then somebody's like, hey man, I heard you like hit this one note and it was wrong. And so it keeps you accountable and makes the music tighter, and then we just go from there.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
I think that's really cool technique. Something we might have to pick up from you, man. But I have like such a horrible singular perspective when I come off stage. Like there's been so many times, I've been doing it a minute. There's so many times I come off stage, I'm like, well, we fucking sucked. And I'm like, well, you fucking sucked. You know what I mean? Like I thought because my performance was bad, I have this overall impression that, we all kind of did bad, and my band's like, no, we were tight, bro. Like you were loose as fuck, but the rest of us, we were on point, so
yeah,
it is kind of good to do that check-in. And
doing a check-in is huge, and I tell bands like, yo, you should do that. Like it makes the whole camp feel like their voice is heard a lot more. And people are held accountable for it, because at the end of the day, this is a business. It's fun,
unfortunately,
it's a blast,
right?
but it is a business. Like we're not here to be like, yeah, man, we're going to make all this money, but like, hey, man, if we can make a decent living off of this at some point, like, I mean, come on, man. If Slipknot can get paid $1.6 million for just showing up to a show and playing it, it's possible, but there's a lot of work that it takes to get there.
Fuck, even just to make it sustainable. We've talked about that so many times. Even just to make it sustainable, even just to the point where we're not constantly pumping money into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when it's paying for itself, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Even if we just got to that point, we'd be fucking thrilled. You know what I mean? Especially you're talking about job responsibilities and stuff. I'm right there too, man. I got a family and stuff like that. So it's you count every dollar, you watch it closely. You know what I mean? So to do something that we love, it's not easy. So
no, not at all.
Any final thoughts or advice that you guys want to give to up and coming bands, or maybe someone that wants to start, a band?
For like up and coming bands, my best advice from he's been doing it for 17 years, I've been doing it for 15, is patience. You have to have a lot of patience, because everything that is gonna go wrong is gonna go wrong. And at the end of the day, you just got to keep that face, that grind on. You gotta stay humble too, because if you don't, then no one's gonna fuck with you.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's actually one of the reasons we've gotten by is that, like I said, we've just out here to make friends. You know what I mean? Because the second you start getting that scarcity mindset, man, and the world gets a lot smaller real quick. Yeah. Fuck, man. So this has been awesome. I think I got plenty here to work with, and I just want to say, I'm excited to play with you guys tonight, even more so after like hearing you guys describe your music. You know what I mean? And kind of getting some idea of what kind of goes behind it and what's driving all of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm excited to catch your set. I'm excited to hang out with you guys a little bit more, maybe later tonight, maybe get a drink together. But yeah, thank you guys for having us, on your guys' set tonight, man. We're excited to kind of do what we do too, you know what I mean? But
yeah, man.
Can you shout out your socials? Like where people
it's
can find you
a Moment's Notice official on pretty much every music platform, and minus Twitter. I think it's a Moment's Notice official _ but I think that's like the only one that's different.
Fuck yeah.
Everything else is a Moment's Notice official. So, and except for Facebook too, because who puts official in their name on Facebook? But yeah, that's where you guys can find us. And then on our Spotify, if you look up there, all of our socials are attached to our Spotify too. So.
Okay, awesome, man. Like I said, I can't wait to fucking catch you guys' set tonight, man. I'm sure it's gonna be sick. So.
Dude, hell yeah,
awesome.
same for you guys.
Thanks for sitting with us, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.